What up, what up, what up? Brand new, something brand new for your ears. It's the podcast, The Blind Pursuits. I am your host, Kim N, and I would like to introduce my co-host, Flavius. What's going down, bro?
Not a whole lotta, unless I forgotta. I'm just hanging out here, all ready to tell you anything you might want to know about me.
Yeah, so the main crux of this podcast, guys, is the reason is pretty much one of the main questions that a lot of people ask, when you come out with something, right? Whether it be, a new recipe, a new song, a new show, whatever. What makes it so different from everybody else, everything else? So, Flavius, would you like to tell people? Because I'm going to take a drink of my soda real quick. What do you think makes us different, from everybody else?
We want to talk about people who have been able to pursue employment and find it, and pursue degrees and find those. And we want to hear from them about how they did that. And that's what we're up to.
Yeah, so it's not just employment, degrees. It's pretty much blind folks telling their stories, you know what I'm saying? From if it's not A to Z, it's A to where they're at because we're pursuing something every day, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. We're on the way to somewhere all the time.
It's like that old saying, where we going, Dad? I don't know until we get there.
I'll let you know. Exactly.
And so, again, we're just a couple of nobodies, but hopefully one of these days we'll be somebody. So, whatever podcast platform you guys are using, hit the subscribe button. We will always appreciate the support and
Indeed.
spread the word. But for our grand opening for this podcast, we're just gonna let y'all know about us. So again, from the jump, I said my name is it's my stage name. It's not my government name. Kim's Foreign, and the reason why I chose that, it's a spinoff of my real name. I am blind. Okay, so out there in the blind community, and Flavius, you can jump in and give me your opinion.
Yeah.
There are people. No, I'm not blind. I'm visually impaired. Do you think that's necessary, bro? Or do you think that's just being like technical? Like,
I think that's like the kind of clothes people choose to wear. I was always okay with the word blind. That's succinct. It gets right to the point. I also am blind. And yeah, you can use several words, but it boils down to the same thing.
we got to be careful here because we never know. We're gonna have teachers for the blind, and well, technically, sir, your visual acuity. That you know what I mean? Like they're really gonna educate us, like, and then just make us look
Yeah,
stupid. So,
could be.
in saying that, I'm also hearing impaired. But rewinding to the blindness piece, I was blind since I believe, and I'm not gonna try to be a revisionist. I'm just only gonna echo what I've been told. 6 months from found out that I had hydrocephalus, which is fluid in the brain that put pressure on the optic nerve, which caused me to go blind. But I was able to not see anymore in the right eye, but the left eye I could see very little, but not enough to mean anything. I mean, if somebody were to walk down the street and they're like 10 feet away, I could see like a silhouette or whatnot, but I couldn't tell if it was a dude or a woman, you know what I'm saying? Or
But you
whatever.
do bring up a point, though. You have the tiniest bit of real vision, and that's maybe that's why those guys get into all those various like shades of blindness. I don't know, but
50 Shades of Grey? No, we're not trying to go there, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, not today. No. I've got my clothes on and I'm keeping them on. But, I, for instance, am totally blind. I had retinoblastoma shortly after I was born, so I I am lacking that teeny tiny bit that you've got where you could tell somebody was walking by you, but you wouldn't be able to tell who it was. And I suppose to some people it matters, but in the biggest sense, we are all working on what we got.
Speaking of where it matters, I mean, we both have kids, okay, guys? So his is way grown. Mine are not. They just entered adulthood, like literally. They're in their early 20s doing their thing. But as far as where it matters, I mean, what if your daughter came home, she had hickeys all over her neck? You know what I'm saying? So, like, as a blind parent, though, what kind of, how would you work through that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would have to even know it had happened. And,
well,
you know
you think your kid's gonna tell you the truth, though? Like,
exactly. I know. See? But, you know, I got my children through their childhood. I have 2 daughters. They're I think they're really a shade more adult than I am now, but that's up to them. They made their life choices to be grown-ups, and I am who I am. But they, they probably hid stuff from me, and they probably got away with stuff because I didn't see it. But, you know, they got to adulthood, they're safe, they're both holding down jobs, they got families of their own now, so I apparently did something sort of right.
yeah. So again, going back to that visual aspect, especially with school. I don't know what rules you guys had back in the day, but you can't be, showing skin or wearing certain shirts or whatever at school. So how were you able to, let them know,
Well,
hey, Jafar, you ain't supposed to be wearing that to school, so take that off and put on another shirt.
as it happened, the school took care of that more. The schools that my daughters attended as they grew up would not have let them in the building. They were kinda strict about uniform, everybody was trying to be safe, they probably even went overboard on that, but that never really ended up to be that much of a problem. There were a couple of times when my youngest daughter had to come home and change, but generally, they were pretty,
But that's what I mean, though.
okay with
Like
the
how you said
standards.
that she had to come home and change. That like disrupts the flow of education. So I'm like, look, dude, if you don't want to miss out on class, you shouldn't have to be sent home so you know what you need to wear and what not to wear. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but every child, regardless of who their parents are, is gonna try to get away with something, and, sure, a couple of times my daughters tried to get away with stuff, and more often than not, they got caught. You learn I guess in our case, it's like a fifth sense. You just start knowing what to listen for.
Well, you see dead people, is that what you're saying? Oh wait, that's the sixth
Not
sense, man.
yet.
That's the
Yeah,
sixth
that's
sense.
that other one. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, going back
Good.
to okay, so Kim's we're in, right? So bilateral. This is gonna be a tongue twister for me. Bilateral optic atrophy is what I was told, and then like I said, hydrocephalus. And third grade is when I started learning Braille and technology. I think back in the day, I was like using an Apple computer because I'm 46 years old, guys, and
Oh, man.
so the third grade, we didn't have what we have now. So when I went to a blind school, third grade, I got sent to the blind school here in Washington State. That's where I'm from and at. And went there for 5 years, graduated from there, and there is where I learned how to, read Braille, improve technology, and got into music, da 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 da. It was a neat experience now that I look back at it because my mom did not want me going back home because of issues there. And I hated her. I hated my family. I thought I was like being abandoned, But as they say, as you get older, you look back and like, man, I was a punk. Why was I being hateful and da 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 da? And you went to a blind school, right, bro? So like,
I did.
can you
Yeah.
can you give us like a brief synopsis, like your experience?
It was,
Now let's tell everybody here how far back are we going. So like, I went to the
way
blinds.
back. Now, he just admitted that he's 46. I'm 67, okay?
I went to the
So,
blind school back in 1994 to
yeah.
1999. So
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
give you guys
I
a
went
perspective
I
of
went
the
to the
time
blind
difference.
school in 1965 in Alabama, and let me tell you, it it was tough, but I did learn Braille. That's a good thing, in my opinion.
What about
I
UAB? Do you know
really
UAB now? Because they changed it to UAB now, right?
I I didn't know that, no.
Well, now they did, like
Right.
14 years ago, back in your day.
Yeah. But, yeah, I learned Braille there. It was tough. There were not a whole lot of resources in Alabama to be devoted to the blind school, and, you hear things, but there were actually 2 blind schools in Talladega, Alabama. I am white, and there was a school for white blind children, and there were school for black blind children, and they were not the same school. So, a lot of duplicated effort, and I went there for 4 years, and I will say that I was very fortunate because I got to come home every weekend. Had I not been able to do that, things might have been decidedly worse for me, but it gave me a solid grounding in Braille, which was essential for the rest of my education. So, yeah, I did go to a
So
school for
yeah,
the
you
blind.
mentioned about going home. So for those that don't know, I lived about, I don't know, 3 hours away. And so I got on a bus with a whole bunch of other blind folks on there
Yeah,
and went to the campus, stayed there until Friday, came home, and then went back. I felt like, just a celebrity. Like, I'm traveling to go make money, but instead I'm traveling to go to school and get my education. I'm not going to lie though, folks. When I got to that blind school and it's ignorant, and remember, I was 14 years old though, okay? So I'm like, oh my Lord, this is where all they keep all the blind people?
yeah,
Locking
it can
off.
be a shock.
Exactly. And then you get to realize that there's more to the story than just the blindness, you know what I'm saying? So like, I
Yeah,
think that's the misconception for a lot of blind, or for the blind community sometimes. I guess you could say that with even sighted folk, like, just we're blind, but we have other things, quote unquote, wrong with us, but they automatically assume because of that behavior, you know, blind people are just
yeah,
weird. You know what I mean?
yeah, like the rocking and stuff. There was a lot of that when I was in school. They pretty much beat it out of us. So,
So yeah, that
but
brings up a good question. No, so elaborate a little bit about that. Back in the '60s, I mean, did they really hang
well,
you from ceilings and shove your face in gravy? And I mean, how was it
I
like in the
did have
'60s?
my face I absolutely had my face shoved down in a plate full of gravy.
Now let's
I
tell people the story about that. Like,
Okay,
because today
I
that would
was
be considered child abuse. You know?
it would, and I won't weigh in yes or no on that. I would not do that to a child, I'll tell you that much. But I was in the cafeteria. We had, like, about 20 minutes to eat, very much regimented and, kind of a ritual. You sat down, some guy blessed the food, and then you ate it. So, this lady comes by and says, "Who want gravy?" And I said, "I don't." And she slopped a big, like, dollop of gravy on my plate, and she said to me, "Yes, you is gonna eat it too." and she put my head down in the gravy. So,
Oh my
there you are.
gosh.
Yeah,
So
you know.
what happened after that, man? Did you just go on with your day, or did you go back to the dorm or whatever they called it and wash your face
Well,
off?
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I went back to the dorm and washed my face off because I had to get to school. I had to get to class, and nobody considered that a very, they were all, "Oh, you got in trouble." Because everybody was always getting in trouble.
Yeah, so earlier I mentioned music, and that's something I do on the side. My day job is I work in the education district. My title is Braille translator, but what I do is I teach assistive technology, which it could be JAWS, narrator, note takers like the Polaris, if anyone ever used those. That is one of the most overly priced note takers. And note takers in general are just expensive. I mean, I've read that the prices have gotten better over the years, but fifty
Yeah, I
six
never got.
hundred dollars for
Yeah,
a note
that's a
taker.
lot of money. I know. I never got into those too much. I just ended up using like a phone or whatever for notes, but I may not have been the most proficient at that either. So I can't really give a good opinion about note takers, but that is a lot of money.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh no, I don't own one. I own what is it called? It's from APH. A Mantis Q40. So it's just a QWERTY keyboard with a braille display at the bottom. As much as I don't want to say this out loud, I'm not a big braille fan, but hey, when you lose electricity and you need something to read, braille books do come in handy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. The dots don't require power unless you're going electronic.
exactly. Have you ever had that issue though, situation, bro? Like you're into a good book, like 50 Shades of Grey, whatever your part goes, like, oh my god, it was getting to the climax. It was getting to the good part.
Which climax? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But no, I always keep something like on an iPad, or I've even got one of those old, what is that thing called? From Humanware. The I can't remember the name of the thing. I guess we're not supposed to mention brands, are we? Anyway, it's one
Apex.
of
Are you
their
talking about the
readers.
Apex?
Maybe
The
so.
Braille Note
It's
Ape?
it's
Yeah.
it's one like that, and I keep books loaded up on that.
That was one of the first devices I've taught when I got when I started working for the school, and no lie, but I never used one, but once you use one note taker, you kind of know how to teach
Yeah, you
all of
get
them.
the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, so yeah, I'm a braille translator. I've been doing it for 19 years, going on 20, and it was not my intentions. I just fell into that field by accident.
Well, talk about.
Even though my mother has mentioned to me ever since I was a teenager, like you should go work for the school. I'm like, why, mom? I went to school for 12 years. I don't want to go back, but you're gonna be getting paid though. Still, But then I was just a young buck, ignorant and all that stuff.
Yeah, but talk about college, like, because you actually got a degree. I never finished. I don't have a college degree, but tell me about going through that.
Yeah, so I started college when I was 21. I had my first child at 20, and skipping over all the drama and all that, I just had to build a foundation. I just sat down with someone, and we were just having lunch. I remember like we were eating lima beans with rice.
Yeah, and
uh,
nobody stuck your head down in the lima beans, right?
no, man, because at the
You
time,
voluntarily ate those lima
exactly,
beans.
exactly. Because I've never even heard of lima beans, but I'm like, what the in the blue hell is that? And then she made it. I'm like, man, this is bussing. So anyway, she's like, son, I'm 47 years old, and she gave me that old folk spiel. Because I was 21. She was like in her late 40s, like what I am right now. She talking about her baby daddy drama, and all this other stuff. And she knew about my situation, and then she just influenced me, encouraged me to go to college, which like I said, I started 2001 in the fall, September. And again, going back to what did we say earlier? Like, where are we going? I don't know until we get there.
Yeah.
So I started college and I really did not know what I wanted to get into. So I just started working towards my associate's transfer degree and then went over to do my undergrad in 2005. And for some reason, all through college, I just kept thinking about counseling. And would you agree that a lot of blind folks like to go to that area when it comes to a career? And why do you think that is? Why do you think a lot of blind folks, not every blind person, so all you guys out there listening, I'm not trying to stereotype, but a good majority of blind folks want to be counselors. Why do you think that is, bro?
Well, you know, you learn the ropes and you appreciate how easy or hard it was. And I suppose for people who feel like they have the aptitude to do that, they think, well, maybe I could teach that better than I was taught. I never had that happen. I ended up being employed by IRS for 31 years, which doesn't sound very imaginative, but
Oh man, them guys are a-holes, okay?
they
Because
are. I know.
they're making me
I know.
pay them. They're
You've got an
making me.
issue
Yes,
with
I
IRS.
owe them money, folks. That's why the IRS to
I know.
me,
I know.
they are
And
DOA to
and
me.
and they would say, "Talk to your Congress because your Congress makes the law." But we won't get into all that. That's more time than there is. But I worked for them. I was real lucky to get on, like, in 1982, and I did
Man,
computer
I was
stuff.
only 2 years old, guys,
Oh,
when he got a
man,
job.
long old lonesome time ago. But I was very fortunate that I never had any sort of break in employment, and I I know that that's not what usually happens with blind people in employment. A lot of friends of mine who way smarter than I am ended up having, like, long periods of, like, just time looking for a job, and it is not easy looking for a job when you can't see. You have to steel yourself against a lot of rejection. You have to just be prepared.
You really
You
gotta
might have
sell yourself, to
you
these
do,
employers.
you exactly. You gotta stay positive no matter what.
And I think that's what I did though when I first my first job ever in life was like working for Walmart.
Yeah,
Because we had a new Walmart that just opened up here,
yeah,
and I was a door greeter, and the guy knew I was blind, right? So the running joke in the back was blind person door greeter, eyes of the store, right? I
yeah,
worked there for 2 months, and then they let me go,
yeah,
and so yeah, back to when I did the college thing. Like I said, I didn't know where I was headed, and when I used to do work for the school back in 2000, I was reading to kids below grade reading grade level, and
yeah,
try to get them up to par. And then she remembered me years later. She said, "Hey, there's an opening, so why don't you try it out?" And then next thing you know,
yeah.
I got hired, and here I am, 19 years later. But I mentioned what I do, so you said you did for the IRS. You want to tell people like just a tad bit, like what
Yeah.
were your responsibilities?
Well, way back before there were, like, personal computers, we worked on mainframe machines, and there was a lot of work that went into connecting, like, the first terminal I had was like a Braille link. I think the company was
All right, guys, let me just step in real quick. Excuse the
yeah,
technical difficulties. He sounds like a robot, but
that's alright.
we will get that resolved down the road.
Sorry
So
about that.
patience.
Yeah, gremlins. But, yeah, we had, a Braille terminal at first. I was an assembly language programmer when I first went in, and over time with the advent of like PCs and stuff, and with the advent of synthetic speech, I could do more and more on the computer. So did that for a long time. Then I got over into training more and doing classroom instruction. I seemed to kind of have an aptitude for that. Ended up doing a lot of security training toward the end. So that familiarized me with all the scams that go on in the world. But yeah, I was, like I said earlier, I was very fortunate about that because I had continuous employment for all that time.
How did your parents? Because you and I are pretty much both blind from birth. Let's just say. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
how
a
did your
good.
parents slash family, friends, whatever? How did they take to Falabius being blind? I mean, did they
Well,
treat you like an alien? Did they treat you like a regular person? Because I do have some homies, man. Like when they look at Kim's forehead, man, they don't see the disability. They just see Kim's forehead. But other average schmoes out there, you get questions like, how do you take a shower?
how do you know where the bathroom is?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, actually, when I was in college, bro, well, I was taking a creative writing class and I didn't know where the bathrooms were, so this dude took me to the bathroom, and I'm not kidding you, but also, do you need a urine or do you need a stall? So I'm like, a stall. He goes, oh wait a minute, I got a question for you. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I already know what he's gonna ask me. Do you do you sit up or sit down when you go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose to them it's a valid question. And see, people never been around blind people. We are rarities to them. And the thing I try to do, like as soon as possible, is just emphasize, before I am a blind person, I'm a human being. And the same is true of anybody else. But my parents, I think they were shocked when I was born and had the
You know how
retinoblastoma.
that sounds? My parents were shocked when I was born.
They were,
Yeah, my dad tried to shove me back in.
could have been. Yeah,
Like, go back in there,
but
man. I don't need you in here. I don't need you out here.
exactly. But I think the family legend says, and I won't get into this too deeply, but that both of my parents thought my blindness was some sort of divine punishment for things that they might have done, which sets up a pretty weird dynamic. And I love my family of origin, but I have always been a little distant from my family of origin. A lot of it goes back to, before I was really making calls or very much a behavioral player. I was just a baby. But people can often be shocked by blindness. They don't know what to make of it, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, so like the idea of this podcast, they say October, I believe, is Blindness Awareness Month. But with this podcast, we're trying to bring blindness awareness every day. It shouldn't just be a
Yeah.
podcast, or in our case, like every 2 weeks or whenever we put out a podcast. We're gonna try to have guests on. So if you have a story to tell, you can email. It's kims4n@gmail.com. ITSKIMS4n@gmail.com. If you would like to be a future guest to come out here and tell your story. And let me circle back to the music thing. So I do make my own music, produce my own stuff, and you can find my stuff on all the music platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. Just type in Kims4n. If you're going to use your A Lady device, just say Kims4n, and that'll start playing my music. And spread it, share it. I appreciate the support, and going to be dropping an EP soon, my first
All
EP.
right.
And once that's released, it'll be in the show notes along with anywhere you can follow me. I hope you follow and support. And it's in advance. I appreciate the support. As far as music goes, you and I we've talked a couple of months, Flavius. You told me, in private that you were in a band. You want to tell people
Yeah,
about that?
I have been in amateur bands since I was in my late teens. I sing, play the guitar, do
You
a little
sing?
harmonica. I do. I used to.
You want to sing something for the audience right now?
No, actually, no. I'm gonna forbear. The doctor told me not to do that, so I'm gonna hold back.
Well, not even Mary
But
had a little lamb or nothing.
pardon?
Not even Mary had a little lamb or anything like that.
Not even. No, gotta follow the doctor's orders. But I used to be in a band called Running with Scissors a long time ago,
Don't do that at
and,
home, folks. Don't do that at
yeah,
home,
don't. That's
especially if
exactly the point.
especially if you're
It
blind.
Yeah, yeah, don't do it. But, yeah, I've been in a lot of different amateur kinda rock and roll and blues bands, and, you know, I always said that kept me sane. I would work for IRS during the day, go play music in the afternoons and evenings, and it's always good to have some kind of secondary pursuit.
Yeah, it's kind of like me, man. Like I'm Bell Translator by day. I'm Kim Sporan by night. you know?
There
Um,
you go.
Hobbies, though. I mean, we can look at music as a hobby. I mean, because honestly, to be real with you guys, man, I'm doing this music because it's fun, and I want to tell my story through my music.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be on Yo MTV Raps or make seven figures or nothing. But hey, parenting. I was parenting a single parent at that for about 10, 12 years now. Like I said, they're all growing and out the house, except for one. She's not ready yet, but it's okay. I mean, she works so much that it just seems like she doesn't even live here. But that's why I decided to dive into music now. I mean, I've had a love for music since I was a little boy. I remember my older brother and myself, I guess a lot of kids did this. I don't know. Maybe you did too, but we used to listen to like that cheese metal, like Def Leppard and Poison and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard of those groups, Flavius.
oh, yeah. Well,
So,
they were around. I was more into lyrics, so I went more kind of the folkish route and stuff, but yeah, there were a couple of Def Leppard tunes I liked. I liked "Photograph" was a
oh,
good tune
Photograph
by
is
them.
one of my
Yeah,
favorite
had
jams.
that good high singing. That who is that guy? He had a good
Joe
voice.
Elliott.
There he goes. Yeah,
Was
good
that no? Was
singer.
that him? That was him, right? Joe
I think
Elliott.
so. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So my brother and I, we would just sit there like he would have his fist pretending to be the microphone. I would have a plastic baseball bat, pretending it was a guitar, and then we would have our sisters in the room. We're like, "Hey, you want to come to our concert?" You know.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
we'd be just like head banging and lip singing like Milli Vanilli. I mean, we didn't know about that,
yeah.
but
At least you never got into legal trouble, right? Like them guys did.
right. And then we, excuse me, and then we ventured into to the quote unquote gangster rap as we got older,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just that's my genre is I don't know. A lot of people because they ask me like, "What do you do, man? Do you do boom bop boom whatever the hell you call it? You do trap?" I go, "No, bro. I just do whatever I do." You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I really feel like
yeah. Well,
it's in
people
the
are
eye
kind of
of the
over
beholder.
yeah, people are kind of over conscious of genre stuff right now. I think whether or not you're on the right track, I kind of approach that the same way. If I want to write a song, I just start working on the song and don't think of, well, this is going to be a gospel, disco, blues, reggae, dub type thing. I don't get into all those labels. They just
Oh
don't
yeah,
mean a
man.
lot
I
to
just let
me.
the listener like define it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like
You tell me what you heard. That's right.
yeah, I mean, you can even tell me if it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like
And they will.
that's another thing though, man. Like, cause we're like 2026, right? Like these days, people. How many people do you know, bro? Like that actually, if you send them a song, like, hey, check this out. Actually, no. Check out this album. This is what a lot of people do these days. They'll play the song for like 20 seconds, go to the next one, go to the next one. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
listen to the whole damn song first. Why are you skipping through everything?
Well, see, people have gotten accustomed to the availability of all this
Is
music.
it availability
Uh,
though, or is it
I think it is.
or is it
Well,
attention span?
it's that's what I'm saying. There's so many tunes that people's attention spans suffer. Like way back. And I'm not don't worry, I'm not gonna start telling you, "Oh, yeah, we used to walk through school, barbed wire on the way to school, and,
Newspapers on our feet.
yeah, we ate once a year, whether we needed it or not." Yeah, it was never quite that bad, but,
We had to use mashed
uh,
potatoes for our hair
when
instead of shampoo.
yeah, and when you had albums back then, you appreciated them, you took good care of them, and you got really intimate and familiar with all 12 or 13 songs on that album. Now you got billions of songs you could listen to, with your device or your music service. And it's fun. I love discovering new things, but your attention span does suffer. You got like a wide awareness, but maybe not a deep awareness of music.
Hobbies though, so I did mention that making music, whatever. You were in the band. I'm an independent artist by
Yeah.
night. Did you do any hobbies growing up? Like, 'cause some people they do ask, what can blind people do? I'm not mocking
Well,
anybody, but after hearing
you
after
know,
decades, you're like,
a
duh.
couple of years in high school, they fixed up this thing. I ran track, and what
Bro, I did
else?
track too, but I only did it because the chicks were like wearing shorts, bro. Like, a lot of my
Yeah,
stuff that I did in school
yeah,
was
yeah, so you
mainly
did have some usable vision after all, that's good.
because of women. Like, I joined the wrestling team. My kids don't even believe me these days, bro. Like, you were on the wrestling team? Because
Yeah?
I'm 5'3" and I got a beer belly and all this other stuff. They don't believe that, you
How did
know?
that happen?
Exactly. I'm like, hey, I got this big belly because, I gave birth to y'all.
Exactly.
I thought women get. I'm just messing with y'all. Come on. But no, a lot of my stuff, I was just a woman chaser, man. I mean, like, I'm not trying to digress, but when I got sent to the blind school, like I said, when I was 14, I just thought my mom didn't want me no more. So I was a dog looking for a bone kind of thing. And you
Yeah,
can throw in hormones and all that other snazzy stuff too. But yeah, so yeah, you did track. What else? Did you do sumo
yeah.
wrestling?
No, besides that, I was not that much into sports. I'm kind of a bookish guy. I love I
Closet nerd.
love history. Yeah, I have always been into that. And as it turns out, it kinda helped out because my daughter is going toward her doctorate in history now. She's
Oh my
she's
word! That's just.
yeah,
I
see.
mean, I applaud that, man. But I'm like, after I got my bachelor's degree, bro, I'm like, I am so done.
Yeah,
I tried my graduate degree, but I had a young family at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were
right.
under 8 years old or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, it's all, what you're into. It's like what you wanna do,
No, it was just
but
burnout though. Like, cause I was also working full time.
But she from an early age would get me going on history, and I could just tell she was into it, and, you gotta love her. She was just more of a planner, an organizer. She was a much better student than I ever was, and so she took it on, and she's got her master's, and she's trying to figure out what she's gonna do her thesis in now. So I like to take a teeny tiny bit of that credit and assume that my love of history kind of paid off.
So okay, track. You did track. So for myself,
Yeah,
I did track, like I said, but I did it for the women, females. The wrestling team, I did the same thing. You guys are gonna notice a pattern as time goes on with my upbringing. And the blind school, I don't know if this is common throughout schools, but they called it the powerlifting team. So I was on a powerlifting team, and we competed in different areas.
yeah,
So I was in the 133 weight class, I believe.
Yeah.
So did that and got a whole bunch of plaques. But again, got no proof. Nobody believes me. I'm like,
And
yeah,
never a steroid scandal, right? Like,
no.
good, good. Because I'd hate to have to turn you in now, I
That's when everybody followed the rules, though. Back in the day, though, you know what I mean.
good.
When people were
Yeah, yeah.
back when the minimum wage was like $4.
Long old lonesome time ago. Back off in that 20th century.
That's when I had lamb soup. Have you ever had lamb soup? Bro? That stuff is disgusting.
I don't think so, no. I missed out on that.
Like, yeah, you're
My head
good.
was in a plate of gravy, remember?
So that's a good thing, though, that you missed. Okay, so speaking of food, I mean, you cook.
I cook when I have to, but cooking is
I
not
mean,
something I
I'm asking,
enjoy.
like, throughout the entirety of your life, like, did you ever cook on a regular, or
When my kids were small, I often cooked for them.
Yeah.
My wife at the time and I would switch, or we'd, like, co-cook, because she was real
So
into it
so
too.
Flavius, he just boils the water and then his wife puts it
Exactly.
there.
What I really prefer is being a cleanup guy. You
Oh,
know,
hell
someone
no. You see,
someone gets yeah.
no, 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 no,
See,
no, no. The
people get in
cleaning
there,
part,
rattle those dishes around,
no,
I
no,
go,
no,
"Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
I'll wash them."
The reason why the cleaning part makes me like, the kids, they'll walk by the garbage can. They got leftover food on their plate. They
Yeah,
put the plate in the sink and then it goes down you know what I mean? I'm
yeah.
like, I told you guys, if you guys have
Hey, but
leftovers, put,
I can handle that,
not
you know?
me, bro.
No, man, you just put on some brain-numbing music like the Ramones or the Clash from way back when. Yeah, and you clean that up. Oh, and those females you're always so worried about, they really appreciate that too.
See, we're showing our generations here. Like, I'm lazy and he's a hard worker, right? But I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. You walk past the garbage can. You don't want to put the leftover scraps in there, and you put it in the sink. That logic does not make sense to me.
Yeah, well, you let them know and see if you can affect a change in their behavior, and I'm not gonna be betting on that one.
Well, my oldest daughter got kids now, so I'm like, all right. So now you're gonna feel my pain down the road.
There you go.
I'm gonna be like, I told you so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now
and
you're
by the
listening.
way,
Now you're
is
listening. Now you're paying
is
attention.
is this a good time to mention that you and I are both grandfathers now?
Man, we can mention that
We've
anytime. We can mention
been in
that.
this world long enough. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
got, like, 5 grandchildren, and you
Oof.
have one in the world and one on the way, right?
Yes, sir. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, see,
yeah.
grandchildren are the best because
You
you
could
can teach
spoil
them.
them and you
Yeah,
can
you can
send
teach
them
them all
home.
kinds of bad stuff, give them all kinds of sugar and caffeine, get them roaring away and go, "Well, I'll see you later. I love you." And they go home and and they teach their parents how to be
You
parents.
send them home all sugared up and everything. Like
Yeah.
one time, my daughter, like, how come Valerie? That's my granddaughter's name. Why is Valerie like? What did you do? I'm like, oh, I gave her a Pepsi.
Nothing.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? She's just really happy to see you. But
Yeah.
but yeah, going back to the hobbies real quick though. So like I said, I did wrestling, powerlifting, track, but like I said, it was all for women. But one of the main hobbies I did was music, and I abandoned that for a while because again, I was lost in the sauce, trying to find my way through the maze of life and everything.
Yeah.
But music has always stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
why, like, I really hope you guys follow my journey with the music, whether you like hip hop slash rap or not. I like to call it just respecting the grind.
There you go.
But yeah, so hobbies. I mean, nowadays, goalball. Have you heard of goalball, bro?
I have. I know a few people who are into that.
I hate the fact that I can't do it no more because you need hearing to do it.
Yeah.
Cause my
No, I knew
hearing
a
is so
guy that,
bad. My
I knew
hear
a guy way back when who went, like, to Denmark, I think, in some kind of international competition. He was loving it.
Man, but if you're not wearing a cup when you do that thing, whew,
Hey. Is that really appropriate for our audience now? You better not get into that.
no, cause some of these dudes on the other side, like when we used to play against teams in Colorado or whatever,
Yeah.
they were built, bro. I'm like, you in the wrong sport, man. You
They
need to,
had it in for you, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, one of their arms is like as big as my body,
Yeah.
and they chuck that thing across and like, bam. I'm like, ooh, I'm not having kids in the future.
Yeah. Well, but you survived and you did have kids.
Yeah, but I wish I could play it though. Like I said, my hearing is bad to the point like if anybody saw me in the streets or if I saw you anywhere, like you would just you could be in front of me, but you would sound like you're on the left or right behind me or whatever. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really bad, but I've gotten used to it over the years. Over the years I've been trying to figure out some way to navigate the waters, you know. So if anybody out there got some tips, never too late to
Yeah.
share. One
But you
time
must
I
be doing something right. You're working, you got your own house,
oh yeah, so that's other stuff too. I mean, just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't be a homeowner. I mean, you don't need vision. You
exactly.
don't need good vision to have good credit
No,
and a
you
down
don't.
payment. You know,
All you gotta do is sign on the dotted line.
all you need is a 620 credit score or higher and a you know good sized down payment. You're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're a homeowner. I mean, is that a struggle for you? People do
It's
ask
not
that
so much
questions,
right
man.
now,
Like, how do you
but
organize stuff? How do you find stuff? You know what I mean?
oh man,
So,
you learn what's important and you use whatever you gotta use, Dymo tape, whatever it takes. You get your special folder with the deed to the house and all that stuff, and you make sure you don't lose it is how you do it.
so back to cooking though. I mean, I know you said you cooked a lot for the kiddos, but well, we're talking about a difference in time here. So, like, they probably
Yeah,
didn't have a lot of what they got now. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was always fortunate enough to be able to follow directions, but I got
that's
no.
unheard of for a man, by the way. A man
I
following.
it is, yeah, we don't like to ask for directions, we don't like to follow directions, but but I could do that, yeah, and, they had Braille cookbooks, so I'd get in there and read that stuff, and my ex-wife would laugh at me, she goes, "That doesn't mean anything," and you go, "Well, it's in the book, we gotta do it," and yeah, so I had severing carrots. Let's see now, and I'd line them up and slice them up. They'd all be, like, perfectly symmetrical, and she would laugh at me so bad. But, we got everybody fed.
And they're still alive.
Yeah, they are, and they don't hold it against me, that I cook, so
My kids, I don't know, man. I mean, I had this rule, I guess you could say. I was in tough. Like, if you didn't eat it, you're gonna eat it. I was like that lady, man, at the blind school. That I just didn't shove their face, in the noodles. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
because they were when they got to that stage, like, I don't like these. I'm like, "Well, then don't eat. Starve for the rest of the day." That's how I was, man. Because I don't like picky eaters, bro. You know,
Yeah.
I slaved 20 minutes on without a hot stove to get this dinner
Oh,
ready for
you
you.
poor thing. Yeah.
So you're gonna
My
eat it.
heart
You're gonna
bleeds.
eat it, dang it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as they got older, man, they were allowed options as I say, "Okay, we're gonna make a peanut butter and jelly
Yeah, they
sandwich or something."
yeah, they probably snuck off to the 7-Eleven and ate donuts behind your back.
Yeah, those $1.50 pizza pockets.
There you go.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
cook, but I'm more of a casserole kinda guy, you know what I mean? You don't see me.
Exactly. Now see, casseroles, stews, things that don't take a lot of thought, I'll do that. Just
Yeah,
throw something in a crock pot,
that could
it
just be a guy
smells
thing
good all
though.
day.
But that could just be a
Could
guy
be,
thing though, instead of a blind thing though, you know what I mean?
maybe
But
so. Yeah, but But that does not mean I know a lot of blind people who are exceptionally good cooks.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, they chef level cooks.
Yeah, man. My so I said earlier, no, I didn't say. I have 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
So baby mama number 1, she was, oh man, she was a beast in the kitchen, man. Like, I mean, she was just overall a beast, but demons got the best of her. God rest her soul, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, just because you're blind, again, folks, it's like we talked about playing in the band, we talked about making music, being an independent artist. Talking about working for the IRS, which you probably don't want to do unless they make. You could probably make good money there, but work in the education district, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
blind people can do just as much as the next, but like the old saying goes, it just takes. We just gotta work just as hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that walk that extra mile, as they say.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. Because I mean, sometimes it does take more. The world may ask initially more of us, but I'm I'm thankful that I was working. I know people deal with a lot of stuff right now. Sometimes it feels to me like the spirit of opportunity or the spirit of providing opportunity may not be as much a part of the culture as it was way back when I was, hitting the streets trying to find jobs. But I really wish everybody the best who is looking for employment because I don't know, it's just a part of life. You do wanna find some work if you
yeah,
can.
whether I mean employment or getting through college, and let me circle back to that.
Yeah,
You asked about my college experiences. I mean, this was back in 2001 to 2007, so like it's not as quote unquote up to date advanced as it is now. Like
right. Because the
basically,
internet was younger
yeah,
and,
and blind technology wasn't all that great. Blindness
yeah,
technology. Like I
yeah.
mentioned earlier, they had those overpriced note takers that you have to,
Mhm.
you have to sell your first child, just to get one.
There you go, yeah, and Internet Explorer, I remember that.
Dial up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, dial up was a nightmare. And
That's
then
right, we used to sit up all night long stealing them MP3s off of Napster. It was a hardship, I'm telling you, hard time.
And so when I went to school back, I don't you said you didn't finish college, but you did attend college, right?
Yeah, this
So
was back in the '70s now.
yeah, so for me though, I would show up with a tape recorder. Yeah, we had a note. See, I had certain accommodations.
Yeah.
One of them was a note taker, so somebody was in there taking notes, and I would have a recorder, tape recorder, folks, tapes. Do you guys
There you
remember or
go.
know what those were?
Cassette.
Cassettes,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So the teacher would put it up next to him, and he would record while he's up there, and then after class, he would give me the. Well, actually, no, that wasn't all the teacher. Now that I think back, that was only for my psychology and my anthropology classes. All the other teachers, man, they were kind of like, "No, I don't think everybody else is going to appreciate being recorded, so I'll just have somebody take notes." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah, people could be weird about that sometimes. Most of the time when I was in school, they were okay. I was studying music. I thought I wanted to be a classical guitarist, and,
Oh man, music appreciation. I had to take that for humanity credit.
yeah,
So boring.
made you feel really human, didn't it? This is great.
I mean, the
It's great.
Renaissance era and all this other. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and we had for homework, he made us go attend certain concerts in those genres.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do that too.
I'm like
Yeah, I know.
boring.
Yeah, yeah. I just couldn't get into, like, these people were into opera and stuff, and they know the story and "Oh my god, she's singing that aria. I think I'm going to cry." "Yeah, I think I might too." And, I just couldn't get into it. I am more of a popular music type person.
Yeah, but the thing was like, music appreciation. That was probably the most boring class I've ever taken in my life. But hey, man, I walked out with a 3.1 GPA or 3.1 in that class.
That's good.
We had to write a 20-page paper, single space.
Yeah.
Single space, bro. Like 20 pages. I'm like, 'cause everybody else on the planet, double space, double space.
Cry me a river.
But this guy was like, "Oh, there's something wrong with my eyes. That's why I can't read double space. So you need to do it single space." I'm like, man, there's something wrong with my eyes too. You don't see me writing.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
so my point is, though, going back to the college thing, like, I want to say this is probably the reason why I was behind a lot because, like I said, I had a note taker, and then they sent it to the disability office, and then they sent it to the next city over and had it translated into Braille, right?
Yeah.
And then they would turn around whenever they can get it back to me based on their schedule. So, like, if somebody took notes on a Monday, I wouldn't get those
Oh,
notes. I
yeah.
wouldn't get those notes back until the following Monday. So I'm already a week behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And plus, you said you weren't like the most passionate fan of Braille anyway, right?
oh no, 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 no. I mean, back when I was in my early 20s, when I was focused, I gave a rip about Braille and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
as I got
Yeah.
older, is when it's like, I don't dislike Braille. That's not what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's
Yeah.
just, it's like boxes or briefs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I prefer to read Braille when I need to. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's not like my main thing. Like, you don't see me running out there and looking for something in Braille to read where I can just easily just get to it on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because the overwhelming availability of, like, audio stuff really just like reading for pleasure, it's so much easier to
speaking of
get.
reading, though, man, I just reactivated my. I mean, for you people who don't know what Bard is, you know what that stands for, bro? Bard?
I don't know what that stands
You
for.
want to tell them what it is now?
It's a, it's a service available to us,
Us,
s
like we're
that is us.
us,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Just,
we're
Kim
aliens.
Kim Sen and I, Kim Sporin and I have this, service, and
Yeah, nobody
we
else.
have it gives us access to books and periodicals and all kinds of various literature, and it's free still. So,
But I don't know. You could verify this. I mean, if you don't log in or read something, I mean, it's a pretty. They
yeah,
give they give you
they
a
they will. They'll terminate you because 'cause I'm not active right now
yeah.
on
They'll give
Bard.
you a long rope before you can hang yourself because I think they
Yeah,
say like if you don't use the service within 180 days, well, that's like 6 months, right?
yeah. So you
So
keep thinking, "Oh, I got tomorrow. I got next week.
yeah, I'm gonna quit smoking tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so busy," you know? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to the conference one of these days, but
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys get the point. But yeah, I mean, I just got my Bard reinstated. So, you got any recommendations for any good audiobooks? Anything historically speaking?
Oh,
The
man,
last
I
book
don't
that I
know.
listened to was, the Khmer Rouge, the
Yeah,
survivors from the Khmer Rouge, because
yeah,
a mutual friend of ours recommended that to me because she was born in Cambodia, and I think that's why I
yeah,
stopped, bro. I think that's why I stopped reading because those stories were so heartbreaking. I'm like, I'm not gonna read anymore.
they are. But they people were impacted by that, and probably relatives of yours were impacted by it. But before we go, tell us a little bit about your current work with students from Cambodia.
Yeah, so I just started a couple of weeks ago. A buddy of mine, he does. I still don't know what he does. He just has a graduate degree. He works at the blind school over there in Cambodia. And if you guys haven't put one and one together yet, I'm Cambodian. But I was born here in the United States, and he reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, bro, you want to come talk to my students, kind of mentor them?" I'm like, "Why?" Just to I don't mean why,
Well,
like
because you're a groovy guy. Come on.
I don't mean like why, like I didn't want to do it, but he was like, I just want to find blind professionals out there in the field that, can talk to the students and let them know that, hey, man, just because you blind doesn't mean you can't do things, and you know what I mean. It's kind of like the main crux of
Yeah,
this, the main crux of this podcast. Like,
right. what's happening with that so far? Like,
You,
how's it
you know,
going?
I was getting there. Patience, my son, patience. This guy, he wants to get the podcast over with, yo.
I do. I'm watching the clock. I'm thinking about a pizza
He's like,
or cooking or something here.
yeah, I'm hungry too. I just got leftover potato salad I made the other day, and yes, I made it all by myself.
Congrats. You grew the potatoes and everything. But no, come on, tell us a little bit
No, so
about
like
this.
I meet him once a week. We use Google Meets, and we finally got something structured going on here. That's gonna start next week. I don't know when you guys are gonna hear this podcast, so
But it's going to be structured too one day. We're going to have guests and
yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna put plans out there because what if it doesn't happen? But we are gonna have guests. That's for sure. I'm gonna have a few people that I'm reaching out to. But yeah, so I'm working with these. They're college students, and I spent a couple of weeks just getting to know them and things like that. And again, I think it's just like blindness, man, or people from different countries or whatever. Because if you meet somebody from a different country, because of where we are and what we have here in the United States, you're automatically gonna think, oh, you're from over there. That's a dirt poor country. You must be dumb as bricks. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
you don't have the resources that we have. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
like, but these kids, they're sharp, man. Like I've done some tech assessments on them, and I'm like, I walked away. I'm like, what in the blue hell am I supposed to do with these guys?
Teach them
They know how to use a computer.
very well.
One of them is
Challenge them.
one of them because I even asked them. I even told them, I'm like, you guys are really really sharp, man. What do you need me for? you know.
Entertainment.
So the next time I meet with them, they want me to start teaching them vocabulary, which is fine, because that's what they all said. They want to learn English. We're going to
Yeah,
be dealing with the families, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
mother, father, aunt, uncle, you know what I mean? Words
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we're going to have more structure on that because I'm a guy, I love structure. I need structure. If I don't have that, my day is whacked. I'm one of them
Well,
dudes
but
like, I'm
you
like,
end up getting a lot of more information across too within a structure, so that'll be good for everybody.
but I'm like one of them cats like, if I'm used to waking up at 6 every day, if I wake up at 6:30, the rest of my day is off.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Hey, speaking of which, now we're recording on the night when daylight savings time hits, so I'm going to take it upon myself to remind you to set your clock forward.
no, it's just the only thing I'm gonna change is the coffee pot. Everything else is digital.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, so hopefully you guys got a good enough picture of who we are and what you guys are gonna be dealing with every time you hear a podcast. And eventually this will be out on all platforms. And like I said, it's kims4n@gmail.com. If you like to send an email or let me see here, you can leave comments in the podcast comments section. We will read those if you have any suggestions, feedback, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And do you have any methods of communication? You got a pony that you want?
Are you trying to suggest that I'm not very active on social media? I'll go along with that. Yeah, if I use good old fashioned email. If you want to drop a line to me, I'm at bradford.trainham at sbcglobal.net.
SBC
So,
Global. I haven't heard that in decades.
yeah, see, I keep that one around. It's a relic. And it does work. So, yeah, if you want to, shoot me a line, do that.
Yeah, and again, if you guys have a story to tell, because you never know who's listening, and you never know who you may influence. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And so, yeah, guys, we really hope you enjoy this first podcast. Again, it's kimsmoran@gmail.com. keep an eye out for my, I'm gonna put YouTube link in the description. Once my EP drops, I'm gonna leave that in there. And we don't have a Twitter, or as they call it, X. I don't. We're still thinking about that as far as should we have an X, for this show, but we'll piece it out. But anyways,
Exactly.
guys, we really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. We hope you tell other folks about it. And I can't speak for Flavius, but I am an open book. Feel free to ask any and all questions, and I'll just be real with you. If I don't want to answer it, I won't. But 9 out of
And
10
I'm
times,
more bookish than open. If you ask me a question, I'll write you a book, but go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But Flavius is one of those guys that you don't want to get a lecture from because you're going to be sitting there for like 20 minutes. Like, dude, just hit me with the belt. I'd rather
Oh,
you
you'd
hit me.
love it.
No, on the closing, one last thought, real good. Well, my coworker used to tell me that, right? That's why we stayed out of trouble because we didn't want mom to sit down and talk with us because she could talk for hours. I'm like, just hit me with the belt and get it over with, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, guys, thanks again and subscribe so you'll know when our next. We should get a social thing for this though because what if people don't sub, man? I mean, so yeah, we should get a social media because we don't know if they don't subscribe. That way they know when the show's coming up. But again, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know here.
Yeah.
But thanks again for listening, y'all. Peace out.